all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Tonight we've got a lot going on tonight. The first item on the agenda is oath of office. And we're going to go up front, and there are 4 of us, 4 directors, who have been re-elected to our roles by the community. So, Corey, if you would join me down the floor.
Director Tracy, you are excused from this. Okay. What are you doing? Hand on heart?
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. Please repeat after me for the oath of office. I state your name.
I, Tracy
Do hereby solemnly swear
Do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of Director
and will faithfully discharge the duties of Director
of Ording School District Number 344,
of Ording School District Number 344,
Pierce County, State of Washington,
Pierce County, State of Washington,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
You are officially oathed. Congratulations.
All right. If you haven't done the math, that's 96 names you just signed up for. So do the math.
You told me that before.
All right. With that business finished, we now move on to our election of officers. And I don't know that we have to do these in order, but I will take nominations for any positions.
I move to nominate Carrie Thibodeau for role of president. And second.
This feels odd, but all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. I would like to nominate Melissa Kinsler as vice president.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Bonnie, forgive me, but I believe I was supposed to do an oral roll call on that.
That's okay, we can come back. So for the position of president, Director Kinsler,
Carrie Thibodeau.
Director Madigan,
Director Thibodeau.
Director Milo, Director Thibodeau,
Oh, Director Thibodeau.
and Director Tracy.
Director Thibodeau.
Thank you. And for the position of vice president, Director Kinsler,
Director Kinsler.
Director Madigan,
Director Kinsler.
Director Milo,
Director Kinsler.
Director Thibodeau,
Director Kinsler.
and Director Tracy.
Director Kinsler.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, board members. Sorry for jumping the gun there, Bonnie. All right. That business is finished. So I will move on to board recognition. We have a lot to celebrate here in our district tonight, but I would like to begin by inviting Officer Boone to the podium. Yeah, family.
Big family picture. You guys
The other ones.
Oh, she's coming out there. Oh, sad.
All right. This farewell is a tough one and hits all of our hearts and many in the district and our community. Officer Boone has served as our school resource officer for 10 years. His unwavering commitment to keep our students and staff safe has been a guiding light of his dedication to our community and district. He has also created lasting bonds and memories from root beer floats, book readings, class discussion, homecoming parades, graduation ceremonies, high fives, and the list goes on and on. Thank you, Officer Boone. We very much wish you well in the next chapter of your journey. And remember, once a Cardinal, always a Cardinal. We will miss you immensely, and we have some gifts for you. This is very difficult, so you have to remember us.
Oh, absolutely.
And you have to drink from this all over summer.
Oh.
To your family, thank you so much for sharing him with us. We know it's been a lot of long days and hours, and your commitment has been unsurpassed. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
they
you.
were my little buddies that always helped out with stuff like that, and all of our parades and things like that. So,
That's right.
Yeah,
We'll miss
this
you.
was by far this was the toughest decision, was leaving the schools. So, yeah.
Well, we're grateful. And you're always welcome back. Thank you.
Any comments, board? We'd like to capture a picture before Officer Boone and his family depart tonight. Any other comments?
I want to share one little story. I was walking with my grandson, who knows Officer Boone very well, because he's been very, very helpful with him. And all of a sudden, this car stops, rolls down the window, and he yells out, "Hi, JJ!" And JJ responded as usual, "Hello, goodbye, which means I'm not going to visit with you right now." And he continued to ask him, "JJ, where are you going? Oh, we're going to have pizza." And it was just, he was there on his own time, just saying hi to, thank you, thank you.
I know that I personally, knock on wood, thank goodness, my children didn't have to interact with you too much. But I will say that there is no parent around Ording School District that didn't feel better knowing that you were on campus. And in this day and age, that's something that's priceless to us. You will be sorely missed, but I wish you all the very best in going to your next step. So.
Thank you.
I hate when you use that. I hate that you're laying in bed. And I can't talk much. So I just wish you a lot of luck. Thank you so much.
This is the second family for me, so I've built a lot of relationships here, and all the people still have my phone number, and I've still been getting phone calls and texts, and I will always be around this area. I don't live too far away, so.
Yeah, we'll miss you a lot, for sure, in this community, this police department and in the schools. And you've been rock solid there, and being there, taking care of the kids and staffing, and definitely going to be missed. Thank you.
You've been a Rock here since I was a principal. You've made it through 2 other principals. You've continued to help my colleague, Principal Freese. And I'm going to miss you greatly, and it's been a privilege and an honor, sir, so thank you. Can we get a picture with Officer Boone? Fallon, would you like to bring Emmett up? Maybe we can get the family in the photo as well. Quick dab.
The worse he is, the more entertaining it is. Like, entertain for me, it's in her. Nice. Come over here, Bob.
Yeah, there we go.
You gotta turn the,
Go ahead, if you don't mind.
all right.
Can I move this?
You gotta open your swag.
Keep your chest face.
Yeah, that's the one. You found a new one in Hawaii.
Okay, ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
You must have done the cheese face.
That was like perfectly on cue.
All right, I gotta open the swag.
Good job, bud.
Swag. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's wonderful.
They'll love that in summer. They'll love it in summer.
I'll wear it today. Especially to the games. Always. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Parker.
What's that?
Tell by all the emotions that we don't always
Dying
get
to
to
cheese.
post about Officer Boone's work while he's here on campus. But behind the scenes and the impact has been immense. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
You get to go now.
We have more recognition tonight, and I am happy to invite Nancy, Shannon Young, Anthony Conger, Jacob Yamas, and the transportation team. Did I get everything right? Please come to the podium.
Thank you guys.
We gotta talk, Chief.
All right. Thank you so much for being here tonight. On behalf of the Board of Directors, we are extending our sincerest appreciation for your commitment, outstanding service, and partnership in support of the 2023 school year bus inspection process. This is so important for us. It resulted in 100% of our buses meeting state requirements, which led to no buses being out of service, also critical for our district. This is no small feat and should be commended. So thank you to your entire department and the work of everyone, all the stakeholders it takes to keep our fleet rolling throughout Orting and taking care of our students. It's greatly appreciated. And I've got some gifts for you. So these are, thank you for your commitment, encouragement, involvement, and investment caring for our students. And I have some certificates here. I'll let you guys distribute them. And I'll pass these out. And Bonnie has certificates for everyone on the team and a little big basket of mints so that you can extend our appreciation. Oh, no, you're good. Oh, let you, yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much. Are we doing a group picture?
Yes, we would love to.
We'll let you.
You can be in the front row.
Everybody's, we got stacked up.
I was 87, I was 7.
Well,
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I appreciate all of yours so much. Couldn't do it without you. Missing you.
So we'll wrap it up. Okay. All right, very good. Okay, we have a few more things to recognize. Turn it over to the board.
I have to say, I love the Oregon High School's mini cows and pigs. I've gone by there several times, and good job checking on them. Principal Freeze is there sometimes on the weekend.
Good fun.
And I'm glad you fixed it so the pigs are above ground.
And he promised they weren't gonna butcher him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did, said it.
We have some kids coming. I know, I told people, love on the cows all you want, but don't name the pig.
I want to kind of call out Boarding Elementary. It's so vitally important to get our school communities involved in what's going on in their buildings, and they had a very successful volunteer kickoff event. They started the Watch Dogs program, which is really awesome. Dogs of great students, I believe, or dads. Well, okay. Dads of great students. They might be dogs too, I guess it depends on who you ask. And an art gossip program at their school. So just a big thank you to staff and families for that action at Boarding Elementary. It's awesome.
I have to say that the Ording High School basketball has won 3 basketball games in a row. First win since 2021. So congratulations.
First time winning 3 in a row.
First time winning a game.
Oh, since 2021.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I wanted to say a shout out to our performing arts. We had the play that went on, the drama. They did a phenomenal job out there. That went. Then we had a choir concert. They blew the roof off. Let me just say that. And then we had the middle school concert and concert in the high school last night. And they all did a wonderful job. There's a lot of talent in our district. Let me just tell you, watching our kids get up there and do perform, it's awesome.
I sent this to the principals themselves, but I really appreciate that the Ording Middle School Choir is so inclusive, that there are so many students that are included that aren't included in a lot of other things. So just an awesome job.
I'd like to recognize the Ording High School students who visited Ptarmigan Ridge Elementary's second grade classes for the hand turkey project. Second grade students got to color the hand turkeys and then wrote down what they were thankful for. I love how this represents so many things, agency for both age groups and connections and relationships built between our schools. It's just really impressive and what a fun opportunity for the kids.
And another shout out to the Ording Middle School. The students had a 3.5 or higher grade point average in the first quarter. And they had them come in and had snacks and got to play some games. So way to go, middle school.
And let's not forget Ptarmigan Ridge's successful food drive. If you listen to our podcasts that go on, you got to hear from the kids on that. That was pretty cool. I actually took some notes because they asked some really awesome questions at the food bank there. So that was awesome. Great job.
Very a shout out, if you haven't heard our podcast, we have 2 so far with the students and Superintendent Hatzenbeeler, and it's real precious to listen to, and a fun learning opportunity for our kids. So excited to see that going on. And just a double shout out, the band concert last night was phenomenal, and I felt like the songs were so special and challenging. They were not your typical Christmas songs. They were amazing, and just the diversity of talent. And I saw students on multiple instruments throughout the evening, just really impressive. So they have more competitions coming up and a spring concert that if you aren't planning on going to, you should change your plans now. Yeah, they did one last night, and I kept thinking, I wish so many more people would have come. It was already a full house, but I have to listen again. So really cool. All right. Thank you, board. There's a lot to celebrate. At this time in our agenda, I'm going to open for community and staff comments, and I understand I've got 2 people speaking, so I'd like to invite Rebecca to come to the podium. Hi there.
I'm very short. We're at every time. How are you guys doing?
You want to dip it down towards you?
There you go. And I'm sorry. And I just want to say, I'm very happy to include you all back in. I love you guys very much. And I wish Officer Wu was still here because I have something to say, but as a parent, I think I remember the last time I was with Henry, I mentioned how my son went missing. He was actually the officer who found my son at Safeway. So I'm very thankful for Officer Wu and all he's done for not just my family, but for families in the community. And here tonight, I'm here representing multiple parents of special needs children and want to discuss safer pickup and drop-off options for parents, especially at the preschool and Orion Elementary School. There are no disabled parking spots in the back of the school, and there's no real safe place to pick up and drop off our children. We've been told in the past just to take the bus. That's our only option. And in the back there, you know, the high schoolers come driving through the back sometimes really fast, and sometimes it takes our kiddos extra time to load into the car, or they need assistance, or they have strollers or wheelchairs, and the gravel back there is difficult for those things. So just wondering if there's any solutions, maybe adding some handicap parking spots in the back near the gate there, or having some blocked areas for certain times of the day for parents of disabled children to be able to load and unload their children safely without having to hold up the pickup and drop-off line, because that has been complaints of people in the past to us as parents saying that we need to get out of the way, that we need to hurry up. So just want to see if we can work on that together as a community and see what we can do for our kids on that. So that was the thing, one of the things I want to bring up. And the other thing was, last time I was here, I talked about better communication to parents of special needs children with the district and with the schools. And last week we had our IEP meeting, and we were supposed to hear back from the special education director and other members of that meeting, and yet we still have not heard. So I'm wondering how we are working on that better communication, because I know for myself that it has not gotten any better. So, thank you. Would you like me to sit down? I'm glad.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I sat down.
As you're talking, I'm taking notes.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Was I talking too fast?
No. I just don't want to miss anything, that's all. So I have to write it down. And I appreciate you coming in, letting us know about the challenges with pickup and drop off. I think that's something we can follow up on. I don't know a lot of what our options are.
I know, not passing the bond stinks,
yeah.
right? So I get that parking is very troublesome for all the schools, so.
It is problematic, it is. And so we can look at the possibility of options, but I can't make any promises.
Definitely.
And then I saw our superintendent also making notes about communication, so we'll follow up on that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And anything that, I know there's a group of us as parents, whatever we can do to help with the parking, we would love to work with you guys as a team, because I know it's important for our kiddos to get in and out of the car safely.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for getting back and keeping us posted.
Of
Yes.
course, definitely.
Thank you for sharing and
Yeah.
being,
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
And I understand totally what you said about Officer Boone, that same,
Right? Isn't he amazing? Like, can we keep him forever? So that was really sad. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And I believe I've got one more speaker, but I don't have her name.
Kelly Swindle?
Kelly, hi. Please join us at the
Hi.
podium.
First, I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to speak to you tonight. Is this working?
Yes.
Okay. So, in July of this year, the communities of Discovery Park and Tyee Ridge and Bonnie Lake submitted a petition to change school districts from Ording to Sumner Bonnie Lake. On December 1st, we were informed that the school districts entered into an agreement to deny those petitions. On November 27th, I asked through public records requests for the meeting minutes of the meeting between both boards to discuss the petitions held on November 1st, 2023. I have not yet received those documents from either district. Neither Ording School District or Sumner Bonnie Lake School District has been transparent regarding this meeting, not expanding upon the rationale for denial listed in the agreement. Sumner Bonnie Lake School District quotes capacity constraints. However, as I understand it, all schools within both districts are at or over capacity. Ording School District states in the agreement that they remain able to serve the residents in the territory subject to those petitions. That is simply not true. They have tried twice and failed twice to pass a bond to improve buildings and increase capacity. Holly Heights Elementary has a capacity of 550 with an enrollment of 475 for the 2021 to 2022 school year. Ording Primary School was built for 290 students and currently serves 540. Ptarmigan Ridge Elementary was built for 460 and its enrollment is 660. In our petition, we counted roughly 52 children that would be transferred from Ording School District to Bonnie Lake, Sumner Bonnie Lake. The petitioners request transparency in the decision-making process, as these numbers do not add up. The petitioners request that we see what consideration was made in regard to the RCW 28A.315.205, Section 4, which states, giving consideration of the safety and welfare of pupils, and whether or not geographic accessibility warrants a favorable consideration of a recommended change, including remoteness or isolation of residences and time required to travel to and from school. There are students who travel almost an hour each way to get to school, traveling on Rhodes Lake and McCutcheon Road, which is unsafe on the best days, let alone during winter and freezing temperatures. This could be avoided if the students attended Sumner Bonnie Lake schools. Then there is WAC 392-340-00701, Section 5, which states consideration should be made for geographic accessibility, including rivers. The Puyallup River separates us from the Ording schools and was under a flood warning just last week.
Ms. Swindle, I have to stop you. We'll allocate 3 minutes for everybody who approaches the board with comments. Are you within a minute of being done?
Yes.
Okay.
The extent and nature of roads, which I've already mentioned, the unsafe road conditions, and time required to travel to and from school. I see Ording buses pick up students at 6:30 in the morning and drop them off at 5:15 p.m. That is 11 hours away at school, not to mention the fact that we would be separated from our children in emergencies,
such as flooding, earthquakes, or volcanic eruptions. We submitted this petition in good faith that both districts would act in the best interest of the students, and we have yet to be shown that that was done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to speak with us tonight. All right. That is all the speakers I have this evening. So at this point, I will turn it over to the superintendent's report.
Okay, so tonight, what I'd like to do, there's a lot that's happened since our last meeting, but I'd like to really provide emphasis around the bond that's happening in February 2024, so you and our public have some ideas of what's happening. And what I really hope to do in this presentation, which is similar to what we'll do with our staff and community as we do outreach, is really help to try to focus in on our needs with justification for why this ask exists, why now, laying out concrete examples of what might change related to the current conditions and constraints that we have. Hope to make sure that people know the accountability measures and how to be transparent with the financial impact related to the bond, as well as how to make sure people know how to access additional information and resources up to February and beyond. First thing I'd remind people is this was a community-led decision with regard to the Citizens Facility Committee that started in summer of 2021. That really took about a year and a half to understand and diagnose the issues and challenges and make a recommendation to the board of how to move forward. That committee was really focusing around a few key areas. One was around reducing overcrowding. The other was around improving safety, health, and security. Really also thinking about where do kids go from high school is preparing for local careers and jobs. Most of our graduates seek employment locally. And that committee at the time really recommended having a long-term plan, but also remaining fiscally responsible, understanding the impact on our taxpayers. And they were looking at that 2006 bond that was coming due and being paid off entirely in 2022. And they really recommended to the board to make sure they do efficient and wise decisions, which led us to the bond last year. That was a $150 million bond. On average, over 20 years, that was expected to cost about $2.49 per thousand. And we did not receive that supermajority threshold. Bonds require a 60% supermajority. Across the state, we just saw 2 of 23 school bonds pass, so it's the hardest year. And much of the feedback has been about people's personal finances. It's a really tough year, and it's tough to make a decision about where to invest in a bond when you're considering about how to afford milk and eggs and other things that hit the bottom line. We really looked at that data, and here's what we saw. About 40% of our current parents and guardians are not currently registered to vote, so a little over 1,200 parents. Of the 60% that are, we saw 43% of those ballots were returned. So about 808 ballots returned out of the 1,864 registered voters. That return rate varied by school. Orting Elementary, we saw a 36% return rate. Ptarmigan Ridge was the highest of the elementaries at 51. Our middle school and high school averaged in that mid-40s from a percent return rate. When we look at the aggregate data, about 20% of the total ballots returned represented OSD families, parents and guardians. And across the entire voter base, of about 11,800, I believe, registered voters, about 35% returned the ballot in that election. And so we got additional information from those constituents, asking about their priorities, values, what they see the needs are. And it really resonated similarly to what our Citizens Committee saw. Really addressing overcrowding was a primary consideration, improving safety, health, security, updating heating. In the time of the first survey, it was May, and our facilities were sweltering. We don't have cooling. So cooling particularly surfaced of the respondents. And again, echoing the CFAC committee, preparing students for jobs and careers. But the underlying theme and what really resonated in their recommendation to you is to minimize that tax increase as much as possible. People were feeling the bottom line. Looking at the growth, these are the current projections we shared with you in June. We're looking at over 5,300 additional homes, 500 multifamily homes over the next 10 years hitting the system, and that's into the north in the Tahali area and to the west with the 3 neighborhoods, Sunrise, Daybreak, and Uplands. Every year we meet with developers and look at the update to those calculations, so we'll be watching closely what's happening with interest rates this spring. But what's that enrollment doing? We could exceed our total capacity with portables by next year. Our permanent capacity is a little over 2,000, with portables is 2,880. So without the permanent addition of space, the solution is temporary, which means more portables. So looking at what that looks like, current trend, Principal Freeze is here. The high school was built for 600 students. Right now it's 46% over its design capacity. If those numbers hold true 3 years from now, it'll be 88% or 527 students over its design capacity. At the elementary, we are currently 500 students over our design capacity. That will expand to 106% or 792 students over its design capacity. Looking at the difference between the last bond, so you took that information and your recommendation to us, which fed its way to the petition, is to reduce the ask from $150 million to $117 million. That drops the expected price point per thousand from $249 down to $1.70. So when we think of a $520,000 average home, the price point of this bond would be about $74 per month. So how did we make that reduction? We reduced everything that had athletic activities. So the high school gymnasiums are gone, improvements at the turf. There's an 8 classroom addition at PTR that was in the original bond that's no longer in the bond. But it does add a significant amount of new capacity. What would this bond do? It would construct a new Orting Elementary School, which would move 310 students out of portables into permanent space. It moves the current facility, which has over 40 exterior entrances, down to 1 main entrance. We know folks have been concerned about parking, and I myself have tried to make the pass through and you get stuck at the light. It adds over a quarter mile more space for pickup and drop off, which is off of that major thoroughfare. So it would eliminate that backup currently onto the freeway. It expands parent parking, assuming high school children haven't parked in the existing 17 spots. It would add that to about 55 or so. So that really expands the parking, and not only for our parents and visitors, but for our staff as well. It would add cooling and updated heating facilities. So what does that do for us? It means we add additional space when we build for the capacity we have by adding room for intervention, social, emotional support. There's a lot of research about what does a lighter, brighter facility do to learning, and that facility would be consistent with that. Principal Freeze would get almost immediately 70 new parking spots, which would also allow for different ingress and egress points on his campus. So we believe it would absolutely help some of the concerns related to traffic flow, and it would give us ultimately 2 similarly sized elementary schools. From a Ptarmigan Ridge perspective, we know that serving PE, health, cafeteria all in the same facility is a challenge. So it would expand that space to create additional cafeteria, gymnasium space, and would upgrade their keyless access controls. Why is that important? When an intruder's on campus, if you have an automatic lockdown facility, you press the button and the facility is immediately secured. Right now we don't have that. It would update heating and cooling throughout the entire facility, so it would bring those temperatures down when the temperatures rise. Looking at middle school, it does the similar thing. So we would install keyless access controls with that similar automatic lockdown system, and we would update heating and cooling at that facility as well to bring that up to current standard. When we look at our high school and think about career technical education, that high school has not had an expansion to CTE facilities since 1986. We were a school of about 250 students at the time. Right now we're about 900 students and expected to grow. We currently have 6 career pathways. Many of those pathways are in portables. For instance, our ag mechanics, the folks that are in charge of caring for the pigs and the mini cows, they're trying to do all of their education in a portable. You can't weld in a portable. You can't saw and learn how to make and create. So this would do several things in those facilities. And we know most of our graduates are going to live locally and compete for local jobs. So in this bond, it would create a new 200 students career technical education STEM wing, which would update the equipment, it would increase our permanent capacity, it would modernize our lab equipment, which allows us to expand many of the science and the career tech pathways we just showed. Those spaces would be flexible in need, so we can move and pivot between the sciences, technology classes, and or career technical education. It also updates existing space. So what is currently the STEM lab will become an ag science lab, so it moves those students out of a portable into a purpose-built facility with modernized equipment. It also expands and rebuilds the culinary program. So right now that facility was built years and years ago in the 80s. It would bring that up to industry standard. And when we talk to our families and they give us that feedback, it's not only the career preparation, but the life skill development that they're seeking. Can our students balance checkbooks? Can they make a grilled cheese sandwich? Can they mend a fence? So these facilities would help us provide for not only some life skills, but career preparation as well. Thinking about the accountability lens, if this were to pass, those funds are presented to you monthly for review. So our owner's rep or architect present every month. They give you a status report in terms of progress monitoring completion, which includes a monthly budget report. You, of course, approve all of those expenditures monthly, and so you would see that on a regular basis. All of our funds are reviewed yearly by the state auditor's office, so those would be reviewed as well on an ongoing basis. We will continue with our public outreach, including the town hall in January, and we'll have information updated on our website. We'll put a mailer together, and that'll come shortly before ballots come, so people have updated, I hope, information on what's included in this bond. And the other piece that I hope people see that through line in priorities from the Citizens Committee in 2021 through the survey feedback, we're really trying to align and focus on those stated priorities, but this time around through a reduced price point. So we did say, I mentioned in 2022, the old bond was paid off, so that did drop off the tax rolls. That's Orting's total tax rate history for just a school portion. And what you see is as we've grown in assessed valuation, that's dropped the average price point for what taxes are. If it's approved, this bond in 2024, taxes wouldn't come online until 2025. So you'd be able to sell bonds and start the work right away. From a taxpayer perspective, it wouldn't come onto their bottom line until 2025 when taxes are due in April and October. The average price point would increase to about $3.40 in that 2025 year. Where are we currently now? Orting School District has the lowest tax rate for school districts in Pierce County. In 2023, we're at $1.72. Where does that move us? It moves us just right about a little bit above Puyallup, within a dime at $3.37. So we wouldn't be the highest, we wouldn't be the lowest at that price point. Thinking about where do people go for more information, we're really trying to put that out on our website and update that from all of our Citizens Committee work to mailers to, as you know, we've had several news agencies cover the story, what's happening here, so all those stories are out there. I can take any email question that people have. We will, again, after tonight, have public comment available in January, and then we'll host a town hall in January as well, trying to get that information out there. And you all have been attending many events, and I know that will continue to get the information out and be able to answer questions factually. So that concludes my report. Again, just focused primarily on facilities, and happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
I just wanted to add something for the audience, that if you go to board docs, if you go to the school board on our website, and you go to board docs, all the slides that you saw are on there, and they're public, and you can see them. I'm adding that because I saw several people taking photos of them, so I'm just telling you how you can access that information.
Thank you.
And yeah, I would also, the board is doing, we are out in our community doing multiple events with a table there with information about our bonds. So just inviting the community to bring us your questions. We'd love to talk with you and find out what you'd like to know about the bond.
Yeah, that's an awesome picture.
You might recognize one of our students in that picture.
I really should have worn some platform shoes. Dang, fourth graders are tall.
Perfect.
Thank you, board.
Thank you very much. All right. Speaking of Michaela, we're missing Jaden tonight, so Michaela, it's all you.
I don't have a whole lot to say, but we had, obviously winter break's coming up, so we have all of our winter events and stuff like that. We had a gingerbread making contest, we also held some cafeteria throughout the week. We had door decorating, which I'm sure was voted on this morning, and then we also had our winter assembly yesterday, and it went really well, no, 2 days ago, I don't know, something like that. Anyways, and it went really well, it was really cool, it was probably one of the best assemblies we've had all year. It ran smoothly, participate. The skits were really cool. We had a staff skit this time, which was really cool to see that staff involvement. Our sports are doing good. Our basketball team has won 3 games, which is super cool because we haven't really seen a win in a while, so that's exciting. I know wrestling is out doing their tournaments in different places this weekend, so that's really cool. I know our girls basketball team is doing good, bowling is doing great, so that's really exciting. And yeah, see the rest of the report.
Do you have any big plans for the Christmas party?
I'm going to Palm Springs.
Oh.
It's not going to be warm though. I looked at the weather. It's supposed to be like 64, and I was like, I was expecting like
warmer than
It's better than
true.
45.
That's true, but I was hoping like mid-70s. Yeah.
So how's your daffodil?
It's going good. We had our first daffodil meeting last weekend. We have one on Saturday. We're learning a song and dance. I'm just not quite sure how I'm good at singing. And I don't know why I'm the only one in that room that's like not okay with the singing. They're almost embracing it, and I'm just like, I don't know. She's like, we're gonna get you confident by the end of this year, and I was like, I can dance, I can't sing, guys. I don't want to disappoint you, but
You don't have to have a solo, right?
no. I took choir in 8th grade, and we had a choir concert, and they set the mic right in front of me, and it's given me like PTSD since then. I will be as far away from the mic as possible. I might be lip syncing. So
There you go.
if we sound good, it's not me. That's all you'll know.
Well, you're just not interfering.
Right. I'm doing them a justice. Don't worry, guys.
I would just like to add, Michaela and Jaden both participated in the presentation from our administrators on our school improvement plans. That was part of our effort to continue elevating student voice and to let them see a different side of the schools and the plans and what's happening and all the thought and insight that goes into that strategy to help our kids. And so I just wanted to say thank you for bringing your ideas and your contributions to that meeting. Was really important. I'm glad you could make it. Thank you, Michaela. I'm glad you mentioned the bowling team. Somebody suggested a bowling competition between our bowlers and the board.
Hey,
Wow.
hey, I'm a bowler now.
I remember your bowling story.
But I'm getting a little bit better.
Great, you can carry the rest of us.
I did a little bit.
Awesome.
You can use my handicap.
Perfect. We need all the help we can get. All right. We have 2 financial reports this meeting for September and October. I didn't see any questions on it. Everything looked pretty sharp, as always. No comments? Okay, good.
Well, I do have a comment. I just want to thank you, Marcy, because I have found out recently that not everyone has a good budgeted, a good balanced budget, and we do, and I'm so thankful for you for doing that.
Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
yeah. Honestly, if you listen to the challenges other districts are having, it's on the news, it's newsworthy, the problems they're having, and I'm also very grateful. Thank you.
And I really appreciate how accessible all your information is and how complete it is. So,
Yeah.
on all levels, you do a great job.
Thanks.
Excellent. The next item on our agenda is the non-discrimination and affirmative action report. And just to clarify, these policies were ones that came up for first reading. This is not the second read of those policies. This is the, I believe, annual, semi-annual report, annual report. So I just want to, there's no action required, but if there's any comments or questions regarding it. Okay. Thank you. And then the next report is language access. And I didn't get a chance to check my email today to see if one of my questions had been answered.
It was.
Sorry. regular job intruded on my day. I will read it and let you know if I have anything for follow-up. Basically, for the community, my question was regarding the counts in our report of students and the different languages that they speak. So regarding that. All right, and we will move on to the consent agenda. And for all of these items, I will accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 5 on the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right, the next few items, we have our lease agreements with the Ording Senior Center, the Ording Family Support Center, and then the Ording Lions Community Park lease agreement. I didn't see any questions sent in advance of those. So I'll go ahead and take a motion.
Motion to approve the 2024 Ording Family Support Center, Ording Lions Community Park, and Ording Senior Center lease agreements as presented.
Second?
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. This next item is our surplus memo. Is something we've seen often before, but this is hands down the shortest list I've seen ever. So these are some uniforms that are no longer needed. So I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the surplus items as presented.
Second?
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I think the tech team was busy decorating the halls, and that's why there's no surplus. Excellent. As I mentioned during our work session, the board had an opportunity to meet with each of the schools to discuss their continuous school improvement plans. So much work and, as I said, thoughtfulness has gone into those plans, and I just again want to recognize our administrators for continuing to push hard for student success in a very well-rounded way. So I don't need to say anything more because we spent a whole meeting on it, but we do need to vote on, I need a motion.
Before we do, I would like to just really quickly say that, and I know we said it at the end of the meeting, but I loved the cohesiveness of all 4 schools' plans. You could see the thread through each and every school, and it makes it much easier for me personally to actually see the direction that they want to go for that improvement for students. So I truly appreciate that this is a very thought-out process as far as a district-wide movement towards student improvement. And I know that these improvements that everybody so wants, they want them to happen yesterday. It takes work to get there, and there's a lot that has had to be made up in the last couple of years, and they're doing some good work, and those plans are very well done, and I just wanted to say that.
I wanted to add one quick thing. I mentioned it also that night, but I really appreciate the multiple points of data that they have for why certain things are chosen, and showing how how it has improved from other moments in time. So I really appreciate the cohesiveness, like Melissa said, but also the data-driven, so that you can see why.
Very good. Thank you. I will take a motion.
I move to approve all continuous school improvement plans as presented at the December 7th, 2023 board meeting. I'm sorry,
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Very good. For discussion tonight, we have superintendent's mid-year performance review and preparation. So this meeting is just to check in with all of us, ensure everyone has received the standards that we are using, the rubrics that we are using. And we also need to select the 3 standards that we'll be using moving forward.
I did take a look at this ahead of time, and I am all in on standard 1, strand 1, standard 2, strand 1, standard 3, strand 1. I feel the last one that's on here, I think it's working well, and I don't think it needs to be a point on here.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. I also agree on those top 3, so we'll use those moving forward. Joanne, you're good? On your top 3? Yeah, effectively working with the school board and the criteria that comes with that is something that I know that you already work very hard on, make our priorities through our conversations as a board throughout the year. That's where we're seeing the district move forward on standard 1, 2, and 3, and where I'd like to continue to focus as we move forward. Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
And I appreciate that we take a couple of minutes beforehand to be prepared so that we do a good job both as evaluators and as supporters.
Yes, yeah. And it also keeps us focused on the same priorities.
Yes.
So we're not helter-skelter all over the place.
And did you notice the connection with the school plans too?
Yes. It's perfect. All right. And with that, I will open the floor for board comments.
I'm going to take a couple minutes, if y'all don't mind. I wanted to, there was some kind of basic overhead conversations about the WASDA conference that we attended. And Kathy wasn't able to go, unfortunately. But one of the things I really love about going there is the opportunity to hear from other school districts, other board directors, other superintendents, and sometimes even providers of the things that school uses. But I had one particular session that I went to that has still stuck with me. I have pages of notes, and I know that I kind of mentioned it a little bit to Carrie, but I really want to follow the idea. The session that I attended was, are our students succeeding and how do we know? And I attended that because I feel like I don't necessarily always understand the data that's presented to us. Not being a teacher in a past life, even though I'm surrounded by educators, it still tends to kind of go over my head. So that's what I went into this session kind of thinking about, was what can I learn about the data? Instead, I learned something entirely different. And what I learned from there is if we really truly mean that our main focus is student improvement and getting these kids to higher levels of success, we as a board need to focus on that. So I would really like to see if we can move around our board calendar so that we can have multiple touch points throughout the year where we are actually looking at student success, student improvement, what's going well, what's not, and taking some of that data. And I know, I believe I heard that right now our calendar and talking about student improvement or student success doesn't necessarily align with the data entry points of what's going on in the schools, wherever their assessments are. So I would like to see if we could maybe shuffle some things and really put in some very specific and bold times where we can look at that the student data and see where things are going. And I guess my hope is that if something isn't working, maybe we can see that earlier if it's being presented to us as a board, that we can maybe step back and you all can take the reins, and you all, by you all, I mean teachers, admin, you know, the cabinet over there, and and make some pivots. I know that we are always hearing we can do better, we know we can, we know these kids are capable, and we also know that from what we learned in CSIP is that the teachers know that they can do it, but when it comes to that SBA, it just doesn't translate. So I also have other thoughts on that, but I'm not going to share. But I just think that some of the system is broken, the SBA. But you need something standardized to compare all school districts in our state to. That's what it is. So that's just kind of my feeling on that. We can't fix what we don't focus on. So if we as a board can focus on that and then really learn how can we support that work, it's also kind of a little piece that I feel like I'm sometimes missing. I understand approving a budget for curriculum or whatever that looks like. I understand that. But how else can your school board help make those gains? What does everybody need from us? And finally, I heard a comment, it was just the other night, and it was from somebody at university level, but at PLU, but they were talking about the differences and the gaps in education with certain groups of students, whether they be students of color or students from an economic background or McKinney-Vento, that those gaps, and we tend to kind of, and I'm including myself in this even though I'm not a teacher, but we tend to look at those students and say, what's wrong with the student? Why can't the student learn? And I think what I heard really kind of lit me up was that we need to switch that thought process. And instead of asking what's wrong with the kids, are we ready to receive that child? Are we ready to teach this child what they need to know? And again, I don't know why these things have just really slapped me upside the head recently, but it's exciting. And I think maybe coming into my 5th year, I'm understanding a little bit more. And so I think I'm ready to put some running shoes on and do a little bit more.
Is there some way that either you can share more of what you learned, or are these people, do they have, I don't know, some presentation or articles or anything like that so that we could?
Maybe. I kind of wrote all over all of my stuff, and in truth, especially at the WASDA conference, the stuff that you get from the presentations don't translate for me to whatever. But I mean, there were some things when they talked about PLAs, and you know, it would be really interesting to have some specific information as to what comes from a PLA. Like, what do when the 3rd grade teams are getting together and they're doing that work on Friday, what's coming from that we can see is going directly towards the improvement of the kids?
I believe that one of the people that presented there was White River School District.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
Keating.
yes, and she would probably, even if we asked her, even give, because she talk about the PLCs, did she do that?
She did. She talked about a lot of things.
Yeah,
She's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, so
and,
we might be able to, have her come and talk to us about it. To add to that, I personally would like to spend a little bit more time in the buildings, seeing what's going on. Because to me, watching it is better than listening about it. And I know that they used to do that when I was a teacher. They used to have they'd have visits and come into our classroom and just see things. And I'd like to see them operate with a new curriculum. I'd like to see that hands-on learning going on at the high school. I'd like to actually see that and see what it looks like. I know that everybody can't because maybe you're working or something, but I'd like to.
Yeah, there's always maybe
There's time you can schedule off. I like that approach too.
Yeah, and it's on my scribbles somewhere here too. But also getting in the building when we can. And I know that in my however many years I've been here now, I've had one invitation to go do that. And that was when we had our interim. When Tony did. And so we were invited to go into Ording Elementary School at the time. But yes, I mean, absolutely, I would love, the only thing that gives me just a little bit of pause with that is I would hate to be a distraction to what's going on in the classroom. So I wouldn't want to, I don't know how to.
I think we can do it without distraction. I've had it happen in my classroom many
Okay.
times.
I trust you on
I
that.
would just tell you, don't stand in the back like
Yeah.
right to it,
And I also think that it's important to highlight and celebrate bigger, maybe, successes. You know what I mean? One of the things that in that session was they were talking about how if your third graders in the year 2024 test really well, you need to go back and thank your first grade teachers.
Yeah.
Because the third graders don't get there without what goes on in first grade. So just all kinds of things that just really, I don't know, upped my energy level when it comes to doing this board stuff.
I like it, and to know more.
Thanks for listening to me.
I really do like that idea.
Where would you like to see it go from here?
Start with the calendar changes and those touch points as far as where assessments are going and hearing about the results of those assessments. I would really like to see at least 4 times really called out, quarterly, however that looks, to be able to see, yeah, this is going really well, we've seen this increase. I don't know. Again, I don't know what that looks like.
We'll talk more in 2x2s. We're preparing a mid-year progress report for January, so remind the board that we'll do a touch base. We'll share what data we have and talk about what data we don't have access to, because even the spring 2023 data is not updated on the school improvement framework. It may not be until deeper into 2024. So we'll do a touch base there. Reminder that we're in our schools January, February, March, April. And you'll be talking with students, staff, hearing about the actual implementation from the CSIP plans. And May, we have our full-day retreat. And so we'll have the opportunity on, I think, several occasions between now and then to help think and tune and what do we envision moving forward. And hopefully we can give you an idea of what do we have, how do we progress monitor, what do we think we need, and how are we building towards that as part of our curriculum adoption process that's happening all throughout our system. K all the way to 10 with math, and then moving with the K-5 elementary and the consideration for 6-8 ELA as well. So we'll be able to have some conversations and help look at that further, and then I hope we can give you a deeper dive, and in our 2x2, so we'll get some information from you about what exactly you'd like to hear. The 4 goals we have and the way we've set up qualitative and quantitative measures, we could spend more time than you may want. So we're going to laser that conversation down with you prior to, because as I'm giving cabinet feedback on the mid-year progress report, I'm thinking about 15 minutes. If you want to go more or less, that's what we'll tune, and we'll make sure we set up kind of a snapshot with you in January, and you can give us feedback about where would you like to go from there.
I think I'd actually really honestly enjoy seeing you guys more in classrooms. I think that's one of the only ways you can really measure the student success is seeing what goes on inside the classroom. Especially considering the only data that you guys do really get is from the assessments that we take in the school, or like our scores that we get back on those, which sometimes doesn't always reflect exactly the type of success that we're seeing in the classrooms, especially considering kids succeed on different levels. Not everyone is a test person, not everyone can take an assessment very well, so I think it's important to obviously acknowledge the big successes, but also to acknowledge the little successes.
I'd like to see the inclusion, what that's looking like right now with the special ed. I'd like to see what the logic-based learning is looking like, you know, and things like that. I like watching it, you know, seeing it.
And I think that honestly you'll get a better perspective on it too. I think that I get to see it on a daily basis because I go to school there, but I'm also learning, so I don't take a lot of it in. But I think for you guys, especially if you're going to go see that type of success and improvement in the school district and really see like that data that you're missing, I think that it would be important for you to go in and see what is really going on
like to see that. I'd like to spend time talking to you about what our role as board members are. Like, what do we do? So if we go and observe, how do we use that information? Is it nice to know? Does it, does it feed our curiosity? But I would like you said, I'd like to be able to recognize and celebrate the successes and acknowledge it with our staff. I am a little bit worried about just being disruptive. I have done those visits before, and when the board walks in, everybody sits up straight, and I want it to be real and authentic. So how do we accomplish that? And learn, and then how do we use that information to do our jobs here effectively?
I think you kind of have to go into it like not really thinking you're a board member. Like just go into it just pretending like you're doing it and just, observe, be a teacher, live the life of the kid, that kind of thing. So in the way you're gonna ever get that kind of feedback back is go into it being completely and authentically just, I'm not a board member at this moment, I don't have to, be super like, hey, like what's going on here? Like just be a part of what they're doing, and then you really get that type of success feedback leading to it.
Well, and then approving the things on the budget with the curriculum and the different things, I think that seeing it in action gives us a better understanding of what we approved. We can look at it and we can hear about it, but watching it is a whole different ballgame, And so I think that if we could look at some of those things and, it does tie actually to the budget, so. I think it would be worth our time to look at some of that stuff.
Cool. I wanted to dovetail on something that Melissa said, and I don't remember who asked about Wild Kids.
Oh, that was me.
Okay, so.
Walking kids, what do you
mean? Okay, so the kindergarten teachers have been doing that for a number of years, because I remember when it was first initiated, they went to the training. And the thing that's wonderful about it is that before kindergarten starts, they have some data about their students, which is a really unique situation in kindergarten, because you don't know, they can't go, oh, how were they last year? You don't have that information. The other thing is that it can give us, I'm not positive how we record it or what, but I know that it is a Washington State inventory, and other districts are doing this, and we have been doing it for a number of years, so we have longitudinal as well as that yearly data. And so it might even be interesting to see, when you said about the 3rd grade and 1st grade, how did those kids enter? Because and it isn't just one specific area, it includes multiple areas, and the teacher themselves does it, and the teachers find it very valuable, very valuable, I know.
Cool, thank you. I do have one question, and if you don't, to the cabinet, and if you don't, I just had the question asked to me today, and if you don't know the answer, it's totally okay, you can just get it for me. But I was wondering, and I think Aaron told me, but I forgot at the presentation, what are the elementary special ed students, what curriculum are they using right now?
Or reading?
Yes.
The same one that's being used in Gen Ed, except for the fact that if we talk about Tier 3, it's SIPS, which is a supplementary curriculum.
So it's not BLAST, it's
It is not BLAST.
Okay. Have the teachers been trained on the SIPs?
Yes, they have.
Way to make them stand up.
No, I don't. You don't have to stand. No, I had that asked to me.
The SIPs has been around for a bit. Here
Didn't we
in
just
the
purchase SIPs though for special ed?
Yeah, so the
But we've had it for-
delineation between special ed and Tier 3 has been,
Well, Tier 3.
it's been blurred quite a bit, and it should be. So, the idea that students are needing a little extra water reading, it shouldn't matter if they have a designation as SPED or just Tier 3. So that's our direction we're going in.
Okay.
And so the SIPS curriculum has been updated, and so the updated curriculum is what we're using now for Tier 3.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Impromptu. Appreciate it. All right, board. Any other comments?
Enough to say.
I hope everybody has a good Christmas break.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, have a good
Enjoy,
Christmas.
enjoy your break. If you get one.
Well, she'll enjoy,
Go
she's gonna be
Huskies.
in Palm Springs.
Oh, that's right, yeah. All right, I will adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:17.